Hey Chapman, I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 2. First off, make sure that you create an appendix. Remember, we talked about that in class. For your image, you want to actually put it at the very end of the essay on its own page, um, that page titled an appendix. So overall, I think that this works quite well. I do see a thesis. There's some good description. You have some good moments of analysis. Um, and I think that you're discussing purpose and audience quite well. There's just a couple of things here and there that I want to talk to you about for improvement. So I really like the context that you present here. I do think that there's a little bit of repetition, so I recommend reorganizing things a little bit because you bring up the idea that both candidates seem unfit for the job, and the idea that there's only two options, and then you bring it up again down here. So this, like I said, this kind of reads like repetition. I think that this would be stronger this way. It's election year in America, and it's a big one. Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the opposing candidates. Donald Trump has been unprofessional, while Joe Biden seems to struggle. But so therefore, both candidates seem unfit. But when they are our only options. We are forced to make a decision, and then ending with this idea of therefore artists are taking advantage by da 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 da. Does that make sense? So you've got this unnecessary repetition here that I think that if you started with this idea, jumped to this idea, and just kind of moved this sentence down here, only you're not repeating it, this paragraph is going to read stronger. Second, be certain to edit for contractions. You don't want to use those in professional writing because they're informal. So you want to say it is election year. And do your best to avoid first person plural. That's tied to informal language as well. It's like everyday speech. So this can be revised to something to the effect of, but when these are the only candidate or the only options, Americans are forced, right? So you just want to avoid that kind of language. I do think that you have a thesis here, but it's in the wrong spot, right? So you want to end your introduction with the thesis, but your thesis seems to be in the middle of your second paragraph, which is a really strange spot for a thesis statement. Your reader isn't going to look for it there. So typically, academic readers want your thesis statement at the end of your introduction. So it would be better suited here. You might need to do a little bit more writing to get your thesis statement to fit here. You might need to revise your thesis statement a little bit to get it to fit here, but I don't think that this is the best spot for it. I think that your discussion and your analysis, your use of description and analysis in this section works quite well. I do want you to edit for second person you. So similar to first person plural, this is just far too informal. So just think how you can rephrase all this and get this out of your language, or sorry, your sentences. Finally, you have a fine summary of your discussion here, but I'd like you to end on a new insight. So perhaps consider how political cartoons can perhaps sway the public. Does this cartoon help sway the public? Is there any benefit to looking at a visual on a deeper level? Right? There's a lot of different directions that you can go with your insights, but I want you to move it beyond simple summary. So I think that this could be a strong essay, but I think it does need a little bit of revision. And if you have any questions about that, just please reach out. All right, thanks.